and welcome to another video. So you saw the title of this video, and I pray that that's why you tuned in, because you are looking to get some wisdom surrounding the situation that you're currently in. You're looking to gain some wisdom as how do you keep your marriage together. Now I'm going to go off and say I know that there are different groups of women. We fall into different categories. Some of you just simply do not believe in biblical womanhood. You think that you can do the job, that you can play the role of a man in this video. None of my videos will be for you, because nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in your actual life have you ever seen a woman successfully carry the weight of a man and not be worn down herself. Okay, we're not meant, we do not have all of the functionality. We're different. Get it through your head. Okay, I'm not gonna debate with you in the comments. I won't. I know what I'll do. I'm not gonna debate with you in the comments. We are not the same. If you believe that we are same, this is not gonna be the video for you. So I first want to start off in Proverbs. I told you guys that if you a mother, you a wife, and you worn down, baby, what I would do is read a proverb a day. There is more than enough here for you to read. But I'm going to go to Proverbs, the first chapter, and I want to read the 23rd verse, but I'm going to go up just a little bit. I'm going to start at verse 20. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. Baby, she busy. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gates, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. And there is where I want to stop, because I want to say that you know a man, okay? And you can spot a woman from a mile away from a woman's perspective towards the husband. So I want to say you have seen a man. You can tell when a man has been loved right, just like you can tell when a woman has been loved right. My husband does not work inside the home. Obviously, I am the one who is the homemaker. I'm the one who stays at home. My husband goes off to work, and you can tell. You can tell by his level of success. You can tell by the way he walks in and he just smiles and he's just light and he's just airy. You can tell when a man has been loved right. Okay, and yes, most of the time is that a product of him loving you the right way? Correct. But sometimes you don't get to start off that way. Depends on how things start off. Just depends on what God has in store for you and your household and your marriage. If you can be the one, and I say this a lot, if you can be the one to partner with God and change this man's life here on the earth, who are you to not? And I'm also not talking, none of these points in this video is going to be talking about you and your boyfriend. None of these points in this video is going to be talking about you and your fiance. You know why? Because you are not in covenant. And I would not suggest that you do any of these things. Any of these things. Okay? The things that I would suggest you do, I'm actually going to do a separate video about praying for a spouse. That is not this video. This is the man that is your husband that you have married. Okay? That you have tied yourself to for life. So the man is known in the city gates, so that means he's well respected. You can't have a man out here acting like a fool. And he acting like a fool. Usually men act like fools because they don't have security at home. They don't have this place that they can really just unwind and relax at home. And partially it's because you always got something to say. What the Bible say about a quarrelsome woman? It's better to have a place on the rooftop. It's better to be sitting up there on the rooftop, to be in the house with a woman who just can't keep her mouth closed. She got something to say about everything, and none of it's the right thing. I don't want you to be that woman. I don't want you to be that woman. Even if I've been that woman in the past, I don't want it to happen to you. Why would I want that to happen to you? So like I said, you have seen a man. You know a man in your life. You know when a man has everything in order at home, because he flows into his work. He's actually able to succeed more at his workplace when his home is secure, when he doesn't have to worry about that. But when he has to worry about you, everybody knows. It might be a secret to you. It's not a secret to everybody else. Everybody else gets that the home is a wreck. And I don't mean a physical wreck. Everybody gets that the home is wrecked. In the same way that we all know when a woman is not being loved properly. And I can tell you the biggest red flag, the biggest marker that sums off at the woman's home that the man is not providing the level of security that she really needs to feel comfortable and confident. One is all these surgeries people are getting. I said it. One is all these surgeries people are getting, and the next thing is dressed very scantily clad. Very, you've got y'all bedroom business is what I call it, out on display. A man that loves you, a man that is invested in you, a man that sees hope for you all's future together will never allow you to be walking out here half naked. Because men know how men think. And no man, no good real man is going to put his best on the plate and walk out and keep serving it on a platter for other men to see. No man is going to do that. So if your husband, and I'm not, like I said, this video is not telling nobody to get out of a marriage. We're going to go through some things. This video is not telling anybody to get out of any marriages because I don't have that right. You need to fast, you need to pray, you need to ask God what is it that you are to do. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, you know exactly how you got in this situation. Some of the men that you all are married to, God told you not to marry. And you married them anyway. You married them anyway, and now you have a mess on your hands. So like I said, if a man is letting you walk outside half naked, perhaps you should be the one to first make a change, and you should put some clothes on. And this is not a video about modesty. I'll give you a modesty story time a little later on, but that's not what this video is about. So, like I said, I have a whole wifey material series. I would go check that out if you want to see some of the struggles that I've had and how I've dealt with them. But the first thing I want to talk about is I put the kids on the schedule, okay? I put the kids on the schedule so that we can have some quality time. I also put the kids on the schedule so that I can have time to myself. That way, when my husband gets home, I'm refreshed. I'm not worn down and tired. Could you imagine wanting to love up on a tired woman? Baby, you always tired. You're always tired. You're always tired. And you sleep all day. Could you imagine? Do you think that's something that's welcoming? We're not even talking about sexual. We're not talking about that. Do you think that's welcoming for somebody to always be tired? So if you need to watch those other videos about getting your house in order, perhaps you need to get your house in order, get things on the schedule, get you on a schedule, get these kids on the schedule so that you can create routines, so that you can actually have a space for you and your husband to flourish. Okay? So let's move on. The next thing I have is I think of ways that I can serve my husband. And a lot of people don't like this. My husband thinks of ways that he can serve me. Okay? I said one day my feet were ashy. This man got out of the bed, put the lotion on his hands and start rubbing my feet. And you know what? I'm like, no, don't, honey, you don't have to rub. I'll do it when I go take a shower. You know what he said? If you can rub my grown feet, why can't I rub yours? And a lot of people, you're just so selfish that you don't want to do anything that makes you maybe a little uncomfortable, or that you don't want to do, or that you're not getting a piece out of the deal, and therefore your marriage is suffering. I think of ways, and I will suggest that you think of ways that you can serve your husband. I'll give you this example. You guys know my husband works in the culinary field, and sometimes he has to do like little events. He puts on little events, and the kids working and all this kind of stuff, right? But they're long. Like when they catered prom, it was a long night. I don't think he got home till like 12 or 1 o'clock. I know in my mind, standing up all that time, not only are you going to be tired tomorrow, but your feet are going to be sore tomorrow. So what would I do? I would create a little spa bath. I'd create a little spa bath, put some Epsom salt in the water, just create a little spa foot bath, give him maybe a paraffin wax, just massage his feet. It's like 30 minutes of my time just to let this man know that I see you and that I care about you. And a lot of you are worried, are focusing on why your man is trying to get extra attention outside the home, but you won't see him in the home because it takes too much from you. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Next thing is stop trying to control the narrative. And I know that's hard for you. Some of you control freaks out there. It was hard for me, and I do not consider myself to be a control freak. However, you can't control situations and outcomes. They belong to God and God alone. And we're going to get to how you can partner with God to change some undesired situations in your life. But stop trying to control them. Men do not like to be mothered. Okay, contrary to your belief, He don't want you to be his mama. And if he does, if you have a man in your house that doesn't want to do things like work, doesn't want to do things like take care of himself, and he's kind of sitting in the seat of a child and you're his mother, and trust me, I have seen this a lot, especially now with this move of, women influencers and women, they're just making all this money and men aren't making as much money as the women are making, and then you think that you can come home and tower over this man. You have an emasculated man on your hand. You have a man who doesn't have any purpose, who doesn't find purpose in his life, and it will be a sad day for you when you have a man like that, a man who continues to do things like sleep with you, and it just give you hope, right? And yes, he might actually be your husband. He continues to do things like sleep with you and give you hope, but he's really hopeless. How do you get a man like that? Well, you've emasculated him. You've taken away his desire, his need to provide for you, his need to truly be a husband, and here you have a child on your hands. A child on your hands. You have a man child on your hands. That's how you get him. So unless a man is behaving in that very feminine way, that's what you call feminine. Feminine men are not necessarily like, homosexual. That's feminine. That's a feminine quality in a man. And that means that you're being a very masculine woman. That's what that means. And you need to clean that up. Okay? But men don't like to be mothered. I'm gonna give you this little example. So we bought a bike for our daughter recently. We bought it from the Goodwill, but we were like, we've jazzed it up and all that kind of stuff. But we bought the bike from the Goodwill, and I didn't have enough room in my car with the kids and all the other stuff that I was getting. So my husband went back to get the bike. So he went back to get the bike, and my daughter's watching through the window, and she is excited. Whenever he comes home with something that's visible in his hands for her, she gets excited like kids do. However, he likes to be welcomed, right? Like more of hello, dad, not like, ooh, that's my stuff. And she's more of a, ooh, that's my stuff, instead of hello, dad, ooh, that's my stuff. And he don't like that. So he went into the closet to like take off his work clothes, and she comes into the closet with him, and he's trying to tell her, like, say hello, dad. Like, he's explaining to her how she should greet him, as opposed to greeting the things that he has. And she does like this and puts her finger in his face like this. Now, granted, kids get that from you. Like I do that too. Put my finger up when I'm talking, like, you better not do X, Y, and Z. She put her finger up like this. And I watched his entire disposition change right before my eyes. And then I realized men don't like to be talked to crazy either. Some of y'all just talking to these men reckless. You just got a wild mouth. And guess what? You have a man that doesn't listen to anything that you say. And that'll be unfortunate. There'll be an unfortunate day. You know why? Because as much as some of these women, and as much as some of you all try to pretend like you're men, you'll never be a man. You'll never be a man. And you don't get to talk to men any kind of way. They won't listen. And when you have a man in your house that don't listen to nothing you say, I'm telling you, it's a bad day. Next thing, and baby, prayer is my weapon. Okay? I don't argue. I actually only bring up things that I have first brought to the Father. I tried all that. Go watch them wifey series. I tried all that. And you know what? It did not succeed. I was worn down. And my husband also was worn down. I don't want either one of us to be worn down, because worn down people don't fight well in the real battle that is outside of this home. So prayer is my weapon. God will show you things. He will begin, if it is your desire, he will begin to reveal things to you through dreams, through visions, through words. He will begin to reveal them to you, and you can effectively pray for your husband. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine knowing exactly what this man needs and praying very specifically for that? God is able to do that. Prayer is my weapon, baby. Let me tell you, even when I first got married, I was like, you know what? Of course, I was a very prayerful woman, prayer, fasting, worshiping, all of the stuff before I got married. But when I got married, like at the front part of our marriage, that 1 year, I laid off of all of that. Baby, I needed to keep all of that Absolutely. There was a time that we need to kind of, come together. That first year of marriage, you do a lot of stuff. I mean, Kennedy came 6 months later. So there's a lot of loving going on. But after all that love, that honeymoon period kind of subsides, what you need to do is get right back to what you was doing before, and that is praying. I have a space in the closet. I had a space in the closet, I would say, after that first year of marriage, going on to the second year of marriage up until now. I have a space in my closet that I go into pray. Why do I choose the closet? Because when I close the door, I can't hear none of the other stuff. And everybody knows, if I'm in this closet, don't bother me. I stay up late. Sometimes you have to stay up late. I'm not really a fan of waking up early, even though sometimes I do. But if you got to stay up late, if you got to wake up early and you get time, you need to spend time with God so that you can be a good manager of the house. That's what you need to do. Prayer is your weapon. You know why? Because the weapons of your warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God in the pulling down of strongholds. There's some strongholds on your mind. Of course, there's some strongholds on his mind that you can't pull down by you just, these little petty arguments. Girl, he don't take out the trash, and girl, and you know what? I did not even put that on here, but I don't have no friend. I really don't have no friends that I tell my business to. God is my friend. God is my friend that I tell my business to. I'm not going back and reporting none of the mishaps in my life to people who can't really help me. And I know you're thinking like, girl, you telling us. I'm telling you because I've already found solutions that work to the problem. Don't you just be going, tell people stuff in the heat of the moment. You better sit on it. Think of it as like, like somebody goes out talking to the tabloids when something first comes out and you don't even know all the little grimy details, talking about people got kidnapped and you don't even know that they were just around the corner, stuff like that. You got to wait till the dust settles on some things before you just go running your mouth telling people, especially people who don't even have what it is that you're trying to get. Could you imagine? Okay. And the next thing is, I had to learn that this is not a competition. I am not in competition to work harder than my husband. I can't. You know why I can't? And I had to learn this the hard way. When I leave the home, my focus still remains on the children. So I have young children that are in the house, right? Kennedy's about to be 5. My son's 14. He'll be 15 at the end of this year. I have young children that are still at home. So when I leave to go to work, not only am I worrying about the work that's there at the work, but I'm also worrying about the children that I've left behind at home. And maybe they're not at home. Maybe they're at school. Maybe they're doing something else. But I found that I never could take my focus off of the house. You know why? Because I needed to be in the house. I didn't need to be trying to, outwork my husband. Maybe coming together and seeing how you could best balance your finances is a better move than sending you off to the workplace. Maybe downsizing so that you could stay at home and tend to the children. Now, if you don't have smaller children, of course, it's different. You still need to create time for each other. And if you want to start a family, you still need to create time to do that. But if you don't have children and you don't want children, it's a different kind of scenario. If you have younger children and you're steady trying to work as hard as your husband, it's just not going to work. You know what I found in the workplace? I found miserable women with children who were motherless. And yes, you're saying they had a mother, I'm watching their mother's in front of me, but they were miserable women. And because they were so miserable in their lives, they left their children motherless. They're so focused on themselves that the children are motherless. And that's what we've created. When you look at the public school system, that's what has been created. Children who do have a mom at home, but who are motherless. Imagine that. Imagine you being the woman that caused that. All right. The next thing is, I keep my home and myself in order. Now, you can say what you want to say. This might look different from you working out. And just because you stay at home, that doesn't mean you need to look like you stay at home. Okay? These are press-ons, right? Girl, pop a little press-on, polish a little toe. Something cute to come on to. And like I said, this is not all about like aesthetics and what it looks like. No, but there is... you're a woman that you care for yourself. You care for your home. Could you imagine being a man going off to work all day long and then coming home tripping over stuff at the door because you say you tired, huh? And then it gives him the space to, well, if you can be this tired and you can be at home, heck, I don't want to do this job. And then you've got this whole mess, all because you fail to implement a system. You fail to get in the rhythm. You fail to create structures that will help you and your family succeed. And you being tired is not enough to keep you down. It's not. Override, jump over it. Do what you have to do to get yourself in order to get better. And you guys know, like, sometimes, like I said, the kids are at home, Kennedy primarily. Sometimes I'll have to, not sometimes, more often than not, I have to bring her to the park so that she can have like outdoor time and things like that, right? And then I can't do my walk that I usually like to do. You know what I have? I have an exercise bike here. You know why? Because sometimes I can stay up late at night, or I can wake up early in the morning, or for her nap time, because she has scheduled times, she has scheduled times for quiet times. I can do a workout. I have weights in here. I have things that I can do a workout to keep myself in order, to keep my mind in order, okay? My Bible studies and journaling. These are things that I use to keep myself in order. Don't let yourself go by the wayside. Just because you're married, that doesn't mean you just get to let it all go by the wayside. That's not how this works. And then women wonder, and I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm saying then when you let yourself go completely, and then you wonder why there's no spark. Baby, there's no spark because you burnt out. You're tired. Who would try to light up this tired match? Nobody. Not even you. How could you blame this man? And you don't even want to light up you. You don't want to wake up. You don't want to stay up. You don't want to do nothing but sleep and complain. Could you imagine? Could you imagine having the world at your disposal? You literally can do just about anything you want to do. And you're trying to use this thing, well, you know, I got the kids to take care of, and I got this, and I got that, and I can't do this because of this. You're using all those excuses to why you can't get things done, and I'm telling you, it's not a good excuse. It's a terrible one. The home is suffering. The children are suffering. The marriage is suffering. And I want to tell you, because I see a lot of women my age now. You looking at me like, girl, you kind of young to be talking about you've been married for X, Y, and Z. I got married when I was young. I got married when I was 24. I had my son, like I said before, if you've seen some of my other videos, I had my son when I got pregnant when I was 14. I had him when I was 15. So I, in my mind, had to grow up very quickly, because now I have a child that is leaning on me to become better. And yes, I could have did what most people do who are in that situation. They succumb to their circumstance. I chose to do something different. And I want you to do something different. Because, like I said, a lot of people who are in my age group, you think that you're just going to be young forever. Girl, you're partying it up. Okay, you think you're going to be young forever. And then here you are, 60 years old, with nobody to even bring you a cup of water. You didn't pour into any relationship in your life. Here you are, 60 years old, with nobody to even drive you to the grocery store. Nobody even cares to drive you. You spent all of your life with these superficial relationships. Could you imagine? Could you imagine not taking time to pour into people who could actually pour into you later in your life? Could you imagine thinking that you would be young as you are forever? That's stupid. That's stupid. But unfortunately, a lot of women have decided to sit in the seat of stupid. So, I hope this video was helpful for you. I would say I hope it's not too blunt, but I don't really care if it's blunt. The truth. You should know the truth. You shall apply the truth, and that shall set you free. Get out of la la land and do something about what you're complaining about. All right? As always, if you have a question, ask a question, and I'll see you in the next video.